Hi everyone, JJ here. Welcome back. Well, did Mr. Musk say to President Trump, "You're not the president and you need to go away"? It sure sounded like that in the clip that I'm about to play. To be clear, it's Mr. Musk Jr., X Musk, not Elon Musk. But as we know, kids tend to mimic adults around them, their parents. At some point, perhaps this was said. It's pretty unusual for a kid to say something like this, but it's a highly unusual environment that this kid is growing up in. Now, I must say, I'm reluctant to bring kids into political discussions, and I don't mind kids in the workplace at all. In fact, sometimes I think it's quite good, but perhaps not in an Oval Office press conference. And Musk has been seen with X quite a lot in public lately. And the reason for that, I talked about this in another video. He's talking about very, very serious things here. He mentions gravitas, and it does make him seem more sympathetic, I think. Look at me, I'm a good father and all this, bringing my kid to work and looking after my kid. I think he's got 11 other kids, though, that you never see. Anyway, he did say this, and I'm going to play that clip for you now.
To restore democracy. This may seem like, well, aren't we in a democracy? Well, if you don't have a feedback loop, FAX, we would have to, if you it's all right. I tell you, gravitas can be difficult sometimes.
Now, that's not always another clip where he appears to say, "Shush your mouth" to President Trump as well. Again, you'd have to say that some people around him are either saying that to him, or he's heard these things, he's heard this around him in some aspect, or rather to mimic this. He probably has been around President Trump quite a lot at this point and is fairly familiar with him, but fairly bizarre. Now listen to this clip.
Prices from one year to the next are the same, and they're partnership with the agency heads, and I check frequently with the president to make sure that this is what the president wants to have happen. So we talk almost every day, and there are sort of checks in place. So it's not just us just going in and doing things willy-nilly. It's in partnership with the agency heads, and I check frequently with the president to make sure that this is what the president.
Now, it does beg the question, has Elon Musk kind of said this to somebody in private, that I'm the real president, he's not the president? People have talked about President Musk at different points, and this headline is associated with that. What will Musk's business gain from his proximity to Trump? He may not be the president, but he's certainly getting a lot of power with DOGE. And in this press conference, you might have noticed that President Trump was kind of sitting there quiet for most of the time, letting Elon talk. Perhaps he's letting Elon get into trouble with DOGE, and then he'll throw him under the bus later. That's certainly a possibility, because Elon rushes forward, moving fast and breaking things as the Silicon Valley ethos goes. It seems to be what he's doing even with something like this. And what has he got to gain? Well, this news came out. Trump administration set to purchase $400 million worth of armored Teslas. Fancy that. Is that a big conflict of interest or not? That's according to a public State Department procurement document. It comes as ethics experts raise conflict of interest questions about the chief executive of Tesla, Elon Musk, who is a top White House official, giving press conferences in the Oval Office about DOGE, in fact. But that's not the end to this little story, because Elon Musk said on X, "Hey Maddow, why the lie?" So Sawyer Merritt, who is an Elon-gelical Tesla influencer on X, talks about Tesla all day, every day, one of the chief Elon-gelicals at this point. Tonight, Rachel Maddow led her show with a hit piece against the Cybertruck and Elon, suggesting the proposed $400 million for armored Teslas was an example of self-dealing. Yet she conveniently left out that the procurement list was revised, and we see that further on. So plans to buy armored Teslas disappear from US procurement website. So it disappeared from the website, and then Sawyer Merritt again talks about that they've changed it to armored electric vehicles instead of Teslas. Update: the US government has edited the public procurement forecast document tonight, and it now no longer says the word Tesla. Instead, it now says armored electric vehicles. So it looks like, so somebody slipped up here. It was such an obvious conflict of interest. $400 million in the Cybertruck. And as I've talked about before in various videos, they're having difficulty seemingly to sell Cybertrucks, a lot of them. In fact, they wanted to sell 250,000 Cybertrucks per year. That was the ramp up. And this would certainly help, wouldn't it? And Elon said about this, I'm pretty sure Tesla isn't getting $400 million. No one mentioned it to me, at least. Well, what I can say to that, I know you are lying, but do continue. And he does continue on and on in his Twitter feed, his X feed, about 80 tweets a day, and most of it seems to be lies. It's pretty hard to take, actually. Now, if you're getting value out of this episode so far, I'd really appreciate it if you remember to hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people. And do subscribe if you're new here and you want to see more of this kind of content from me in the very near future. I'm doing these daily. And this too, at the same time as that Musk team kicks off federal layoffs as White House eyes big cuts. So that was pretty bad timing, wasn't it? If that was indeed true, with money going to Musk companies, $400 million for Cybertrucks that they're finding hard to sell, when at the same time they're looking at big cuts in the federal workforce. And we see exclusive top Musk staffer goes to the IRS to examine operations, source says. So going into different departments, slashing and burning as they go, whether that's illegal or not. The courts are probably going to work that out. So Senator Ron Wyden said, my office is hearing that DOGE is now at the IRS. That means Musk henchmen are in a position to dig through a trove of data about every taxpayer in America. And if your refund is delayed, they could very well be the reason. And this headline, Musk DOGE workers are headed to NASA as well for a spending review. And we see here acting NASA chief says DOGE to review space agency spending as hundreds take buyout. So this is the buyout offer of retirement, of basically getting fired, but being pushed out, cutting down the workforce. And at the same time, we've seen this, the CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which I've talked about before. It seems crazy to get rid of this thing. This has supposedly helped $20 billion worth of people who have been defrauded, consumers who have been defrauded by financial companies, institutions, helped get their money back. I've shown examples of that where people have got their money back really quickly within a couple of weeks or even sooner than that, when they have been defrauded or wronged by a company. And it says that this new leadership begins staff purge with dozens of employees terminated. So Elon Musk wants to get rid of that. And I've said this before that, why would Elon be doing this and Trump be doing this? They're involved in financial transactions and they've probably been in the firing line of this bureau before. And Elon wants to start on X as a payments platform. So he will be in that financial area. And wouldn't it be better for him if you were wronged or defrauded by X payments at some point that you couldn't do anything about it? And Elon is saying on X at the same time here, things like this, why 90% of America loves DOGE. Do they? That's just making that up. Watching Trump slash federal programs, knowing it doesn't affect you because you're not a member of the parasite class. I think this is pretty outrageous that he says things like this. What is the parasite class? People living off federal programs, I suppose he thinks. I mean, who is that? Does he include Social Security and things like that? Because there is talk that he's going to start getting rid of that in Medicare, Medicaid, lots of different things. Does he include that in the parasite class? And during that Oval Office meeting, Elon Musk claims the DOGE website offers transparency, but there's nothing there. He did talk about transparency in that meeting. He was stumbling over his words when a journalist asked about it being transparent and whether it was a conflict of interest, and he was talking about how transparent it is that they put it up on X, on the DOGE account every day. Things I look there and it's sort of cherry picking things. It's not very often, considering the things that they are probably doing in secret, not very transparent. There's not a lot of information. And I did go to the website, and even after he said that, says this is the Department of Government Efficiency website. It says here in the savings that they're supposedly getting, receipts coming soon, no later than Valentine's Day. So, it's blank, even though he said that. It's really not very transparent. And I've seen Trump's press secretary bringing receipts, and some of them seem pretty small. And we're talking about just such a massive budget here. And they're talking about things that are a few $1,000s, few $1 million. I think one of the media organizations added things up, and it came to about $6 billion that they put on the X feed there. But this is not a great deal of money that they've found even so far. When you consider that if you went into the military, into the Pentagon budget, it gets something like $900 billion a year. That they're not being accountable for what they spend in terms of auditing. They don't even know where the money's gone. So that is primed for them doing that, but they seem to not have gone into that. Trump said they will. So it's going to be very interesting to see that. But in the meantime, transparency. Mr. Musk, let's play a game. Spot the liar about transparency. And then this, finally, Elon Musk calls for the US government to delete entire agencies, remove the roots of the weed, he talked about in a satellite talk that he had just today, or in the last day or so, I think. So, and deleting entire agencies, whether that's illegal for him to do it, whether he can do that, just delete things, move fast, break things, delete. He said he will add things back later if it comes to that, if they made mistakes. But the damage that could be done, even in US aid, where they're actually giving aid overseas. I mean, people were talking about the fraud there, and it probably was an agency that needed to be looked at, but some of it, in talking about soft power, giving things away, there's medical things involved there, just cutting things off like that. It probably threatened people's lives by cutting things off immediately like they're doing, but he does not care about that at all. So what do you think in the comments? Let me know about this. Do you think that Elon Musk talks about Trump in private, saying he's not really the president, I'm the president? Seems to have a lot of self-confidence, to put it mildly. And do you think that he's going to be able to carry through with DOGE like he wants to? Or the courts stop him? Well, he's just trying to get away with as much as he can and lie as much as he can. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Perhaps you think a different way, or perhaps you agree. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to put a link here to a related video. Go and see that now if you want to. And also hit that join button. Support the channel. It's just me here doing this at the moment. There's no team behind me. I'm doing videos every day. I appreciate the support if you want to do that, or the super thanks as well if it's just a one-off donation. And thanks to everybody for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next one.